Hey, I'm TJ Anthony, and you are watching 21 Next. So today is a weather warned day because of some just brutally cold temperatures, and snow fell overnight. It ended around maybe 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, especially in other regions across our area. It fell significantly, and firefighters in Lebanon actually had to fight a fire at a building. This was a 4 alarm fire that ended up displacing over a dozen people. Just look at these pictures right here. You can see that snow falling down as multiple agencies responded to that scene, and they battled those flames for hours there. And like I said, it was multiple agencies on the scene. We also know that around 14 people were displaced. So CBS 21's Fatima Mo was at the scene all day talking with people there. And Fatima, you actually met someone that lived inside of that building.
Yeah, TJ, that's right. As I was on site, I arrived pretty early in the morning today to get just, any sense of how this fire was. And as a man was going up the stairs into his apartment, I kind of stopped him and was like, hey, do you mind if I just follow you? I don't want to be intrusive. I don't want to be in your face, but I happen to be with 21, and I just want to see how your place looks. And he was very giving. I mean, at that point, when someone has lost everything, at that point, I kind of just sensed he was kind of like, I don't care. And the building owner was there too. And so they both collectively were like, you can come up with us. We don't mind it. And so some of the footage that you'll see tonight at 10 and 11 just kind of shows how his place is. He was at the far end of the strip down the 800 block of Cumberland Street. And so the damage wasn't as strong, but still you'll see those visuals tonight. They're pretty telling of how the effort went down. And so that's just one of the 14. And he's actually the owner of the two animals that are also displaced. His two cats also were able to get out alive, and get, again, just very visual and very telling visuals from today and that
And
fire.
then what do you think about it too? It's just very disheartening knowing that, it's the holiday season. It's, a happy time for a lot of families. So people will be celebrating certain holidays around this time period. And yet now people are dealing with this, which is very unfortunate. We also know a firefighter actually had to go to the hospital because of fighting those flames. So really just a lot of just these circumstances people are under right now, very tough for them.
Right, exactly. And just asking the man himself, his name was Jordan, just hearing from him talk about how he's now going back to his hotel. He actually went in there when it was allowed to go back inside to get his cats. Earlier this morning is when he was able to retrieve them, and going back just to get a couple more things before he's back to his hotel room. He explained that he just doesn't know how much time he's going to have away from home, and just being inside someone's personal home. I mean, it's such a privilege to be allowed inside someone's home. I think that's the biggest sign of respect. And then on top of that, seeing them in a vulnerable state, it really, today, I mean, you know best, right? Like, none of us reporters like covering fires, but when someone shows you their vulnerability and shows you what they're going through at this time, especially with the holidays around the corner, it was just so sad. And he, trying to stay positive, was like, I want to thank the Red Cross. They helped me out to get myself a hotel room for my family, but at this time it's like he still knows that he doesn't know what's next. And so that's the really telling part of all of this.
Yeah, thankfully, he does have his life. I know you said his specific apartment wasn't badly damaged. Kind of talk about the conditions that you saw throughout the building. Was the smell still lingering? Kind of paint that picture for us.
Right. There was still a whiff of that smoke smell, as any fire has. I mean, his place in particular was just very messy all around. I mean, again, you had crews coming in and out through his windows trying to tackle those flames from the ceiling. It seemed like a lot of the fire really stretched at the top of the roof of the structures of those buildings. And so, again, he didn't have it that bad, but just being inside and seeing how there's all this trash all over, everywhere. I mean, his toilet completely filled with the debris, and those walls have completely caved into his place. Again, his two cats, I mean, by nature, they're gonna hide, and they're gonna, you know just try to protect themselves. I have a cat myself, so just knowing that they were both alive and well, that made me a little happy to hear. But again, some of these fires, you just never know with animals, and the crews. Again, over a dozen people impacted. The other homes, I will say, I did try to speak with the owner of the building that saw the most impact, and he had very quickly shooed me away. He was like, no comment, I don't want to talk. My tenants won't talk to you. And again, that's a very natural and understandable response given just how this all happened in less than 24 hours.
Yeah, and we do know officials are still investigating the exact cause of this fire that, caused all these people to unfortunately lose their homes around this time. Did they have any idea as to what possibly could have started this? What floor was on anything? Did they have any indication?
I don't, I mean, obviously we can't report anything that hasn't been confirmed. So a lot of the speculation sounded like it was coming from the basement of the structures. I don't know exactly. I even asked officials. The Lebanon City Fire Department are just putting it as it's undetermined, but a lot of speculation came from the bottom, the first few floors of the structures. But again, nothing is confirmed at this time.
Yeah, of course, we will continue to follow the developments, just see, what exactly caused this fire in Lebanon. I also want to point out something else. We hear this all the time about volunteer fire departments and firefighters need more hands on deck. Well, that was the case for this fire, we're learning. In fact, they said a fire department that responded to the scene said they could have used more help. They had open seats, a few additional hands, they said would have made a significant difference in this fire. And they also said this incident pretty much underscores the ongoing critical need for volunteer firefighters. So that really just speaks to this need, not only in central Pennsylvania, but really just across the Commonwealth. Did you see the fire department on scene today when you were there in that area?
Right. Over 10 hours of effort. There were so many different area troops and folks coming from different crews all around. The Lebanon City Fire Department is still on site. They had one of their patrol cars right across the street, again, still monitoring the scene. That's the latest. I mean, you could just imagine working in the cold with cold water rushing through, flowing continuously as snowflakes are falling. I mean, it's a cold and hard work just all around from all of them. So I know even when I first approached the fire official, he was like, very tired. We're all very tired. And the men and women that worked overnight are definitely taking their well-earned break and, resting up. So it was just, again, very extraordinary and incredible just to see how much of the community has come out. And again, for their first responders, making sure that 4-alarm fire that was, progressively updated. Again, it just goes to show how massive that fire was. And like you said, the need for more help when needed.
Did they say how the weather kind of impacted their efforts to put out those flames?
Yeah, that was a big element to the story, especially because it started snowing and, just visually speaking, working on something as fire, as strong as the gusts of winds were last night as well. That definitely came up in how this, again, goes back to how it took 10 hours to handle.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Of course, we're going to continue updating this story, following these developments in this. Make sure you stay safe out there, as there may be some possible slick spots still on the roadways. Temperatures are still below freezing. And thank you for watching 21 Next.